Lee Jones here from Hotspawn, and I'm joined by crashies after Fnatic just booked their place in the playoffs. Pleased to get there nice and quick.
Yeah, I mean, fast and quick, 3-0 so far on the season. And I think our job really isn't finished yet. Like, we really are gunning for the first seed. I mentioned it before, but we really want that first seed going into playoffs. So still 2 big games coming up for us.
Sure. Well, let me ask just a little bit about the game itself. So you beat an Apeks 2-0 today. Why do you think that split was so close, though? It was a little bit nervy going into overtime.
Yeah, I mean, we just have a lot of footage on split right now in general. Like our Vitality game, we went whatever, how many overtimes we went. But I think there's just so much footage on us right now, so we don't really have a surprise element anymore. But I do want to credit Apeks because they were making it very difficult to figure out where they were going on their attack side. And we were also messing up rounds as well. But I definitely want to give credit to them. It was just they were playing well.
What do you think it is with Apeks where they can't quite close out a win yet? Because they've been taking maps off everyone, and yeah, like today that split could have easily got in their favor as well.
Yeah.
What do you think is missing for them?
I'm not too sure. It's so hard to like say what the problem is with a team like from the outside. I don't really know much about any of their players except like Fluorescent and maybe a little bit of Governor. I have no experience like Molzy, Avova, or Batu. I mean, I do think they are showing like hopes with like they do get map wins against strong opponents. Like you said, they easily could have took a split off us today. So I think like they do have hope. It's not like full hope is lost, but yeah, they just have to figure out like how to close some series out.
Well, especially for you guys then now, like obviously today you would have expected to win, I'd imagine, but obviously the win against Vitality was the big one the other day. Do you think that makes you guys like clear #1 favourites now?
Maybe not #1, especially with how Heretics beat Vitality yesterday as well. I think that last game, Heretics versus us, will definitely be a big game, and especially we might be fighting for first seed. So I think depending on how that game goes, you could judge like 1-2 type of stuff. But I mean, the Vitality game in general, I think it was a really big game for our confidence and just to see where we're at against a top level team. And yeah, I mean, we had a great game versus them.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask about kind of the move from Kickoff to stage 1 now, because I know you've been speaking a few times about like finding your role in the team and kind of getting used to how you need to fit in there around what the other guys are doing. Was that a bit more difficult with the coaching change as well? Because it's not even just the fact that there was a coaching change, but obviously I know there was like the stuff with Doom Bros coming in, but then had to step back, and
Yeah.
I imagine maybe just not as smooth as it could have been. So did that make it a little bit extra difficult to find your place there?
Yeah, so I mean, coming into I'll go like by timeline. Coming into the team originally, it was just I had to catch up to speed with like a month of practice in all their systems, all their strats, all their comps, and just see how Boaster like to call the game, how he likes to see the game, how they all like to see the game. And it was just a lot for me, especially like figuring out each player and stuff like that. And then after like kickoff, I really reflected a lot on myself and like I know my ability. Like I've been at the top of the game for so long now. I have a trophy, all that. So I think I just like came into season 1 just like with a new mindset and doing what I know I can do. And then the coaching change, obviously it's not smooth when you have a coaching change, especially after like you build a little bit of chemistry for a tournament and then yeah, they make a coaching change. But I think Milan has been like a very good head coach in the short amount of time that we've worked with him. And then Doomrose coming in for the time that he did work with us, like he was just very experienced, and I've competed against him a lot in my career as well, so I know he's very good. So I was definitely shitty, to say the word. Like it just sucked to lose him, just because he brought a lot of great stuff, and he just saw the game kind of like a player perspective because he worked with Angel so much, So definitely sucked to lose him. And then we got Scott. But I think Scott's been a great addition as well. He came from BBL, and he's just been amazing for us. So many like intellectual conversations I've had with him, and he sees the game in such like a dynamic way that like makes me think differently sometimes. So I think he's fitting in nicely as well.
Nice. Well, then also just like outside of the game as well, what's the transition been like just coming from the Americas and settling in life in Europe as well? Was there anything surprising or any shocks there?
I would say like the weather. The weather sucks here, especially because I came in winter of Berlin. like it was just depressing. It was cold every day, no sun. I'm like, man, I'm coming from LA, so like where's the sun? Like I need something. But yeah, that was like the only like big one. Like food, we have a private chef and we kind of have the same at NRG as well. So the food is just great every day, no complaints there.
You're
And
not one of
yeah,
the
I mean
players that
my
was
team
like
actually
on DoorDash every day then.
no, no, definitely not. I actually value a chef a lot because I go to the gym and he just makes really healthy meals and stuff like that. So it's been very beneficial. And then yeah, me and my teammates get along, so we just do stuff together on our off days. So yeah, I would
Hmm.
just say the weather.
Sure. Well, then what's it been like joining a team like Fnatic as well? I guess you maybe it's not that much of a change for you because like you've been on like T1 and Optic, which are obviously like massive orgs as well. Because just asking basically where Fnatic is a team that has like quite a uniquely not just large but like passionate fan base as well. Is that something you've noticed like that their fan base is particularly different since you've joined and yeah maybe like more outspoken and more passionate?
Yeah, so I definitely think T1 like didn't really have that big of like an NA fan base at the time that like we were in Valorant. And then we joined Optic and Envy, but Optic had a crazy fan base coming from Call of Duty. So they always showed love, but coming to Fnatic, their fans have just been nothing but like loving to me and show me so much support on everything. I get messages all the time, just how much they love seeing us play and win and stuff like that. And even when I'm like not performing my best or if we lose games, they're still there showing their support. So I would definitely say Fnatic definitely has like a crazy fan base that is like I love. It's one of my favorite fan bases. So yeah, that's been like a cool thing to see as well.
Hmm. And just with one more point of the transition as well, just how much easier has it been like joining a team that's had the vibes like you guys have? Like I spoke to Boaster last week. He said it's the best vibes team he's ever been on. And yeah, I know you said today, like on the broadcast, it's like they're all like brothers basically. So how much easier does that make it too?
It just makes it so easy, especially because like my last year I came from Energy where it was the complete opposite. Like we had people not getting along. Practice was just not enjoyable to show up to. Like we had drama and like issues and stuff that's hard to solve when you're not as close as we are. So like being so close on this team and like I say brothers, but it does make such a huge difference because if there's a problem, like big or small, you just say it and you could talk it out and like things get resolved. The worst thing you could do is like when you're on a team and there's problems building up and you feel like you can't say it or you speak to one person and like like cliques start forming and like you don't really know what's going on. So I think that is like one of our greatest strengths that we have right now is just we always say like what's on our mind or if we have an issue or if something's bothering us. Um, yeah, so it's just been unreal for me.
Amazing. Um, Maybe I'll just leave you one more question then. I asked this to Safe the other day, and he just said it was. I think he just said it was cinema. And what I asked him was for his thoughts on the group draw and maybe how it could be perceived as being a slightly weighted, where you guys maybe have got the slightly tougher group. Yeah, what do you think on that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely cinema. Definitely cinema. When I remember when they like revealed the groups or whatever, I'm like, what is going on here? Like, how does that even make sense? But I think it's like kind of a blessing in disguise since our group is so stacked. Going into playoffs, you obviously can play like the other group, so you could have like
Hmm.
an easier matchup. Even though I think this year everyone's very competitive. Um, and yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You
Yeah.
you play the hand you're dealt, right?
Well, I guess does it like maybe benefit you guys that you're like finally hitting your good run of form now as well? Because like imagine like let's look from like Vitality's perspective, they're hitting a bit of a rocky patch, and then they get beaten by two of like their their rivals for the title, and obviously it can give a like a downswing of momentum. But then for you guys, you've beaten them now. Does it just help basically to have beaten them earlier on like that?
Yeah, it definitely helps, especially if you play them in the future. You kind of know like what they like to do or certain tendencies. Like, I think it's always like really good for the team's confidence when you beat a very good team like Vitality, who has also a lot of expectations going on them. They placed fourth at Bangkok. They just won Kickoff. Obviously, like they don't have Trex anymore, but still a strong team, still contending, should be contending for titles and stuff like that.
Sure. Well, I think we'll leave it there now. I don't think we've got time for much more. So, yeah, thanks very much for your time, crashies. Yeah, well
Thank you
done
so
on the win
much.
today, and best of luck in the rest of stage one.
Thank you.
Cheers.